scene.
All right. Just so you know, I'm the new Deputy Fire Chief for Goshen Fire and EMS, Paul Hasselmeyer. That really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things today. So, this demonstration is a mock crash. You guys got a big day tomorrow. So, we hope that you learn something and it opens your eyes to some of the possibilities, okay? A witness to the crash has called 911 and emergency personnel have been dispatched to the scene. The driver of the black SUV, Andrew, is a 16-year-old male. He and his passenger friend have been drinking at a party after the prom dance. Due to his impairment, he ran a red light and impacted another vehicle in the intersection. Andrew was the only one wearing a seatbelt. Although he is conscious, he has been screaming to his friend who isn't responding. His friend Amber, the front passenger, is an 18-year-old female. Upon impact, her body was thrown forward through the front windshield because she was not wearing her seatbelt. She hasn't answered to her friend's screams, and it appears that she may be dead. After the party, Xavier and Emily, who are in the small car, went for pizza in Miami Township. They were on their way home. The driver of the small car, Xavier, an 18-year-old male, is conscious at first and appears dizzy and confused. He was the only person in the small car wearing a seatbelt. Unfortunately, Emily, the unrestrained front seat passenger, was thrown with such force she is pinned under the dashboard with severely crushed legs and head trauma. Although Xavier has obvious trauma to his face and head, he is conscious and cannot free Emily. Emily is in a tremendous amount of pain. Keep in mind that in some cases, emergency personnel must drive several miles, and the first person to the scene may not arrive for 10 to 15 minutes. During the response, they may be slowed down by motorists who fail to yield to them, and then have to deal with onlookers blocking the roadway around the crash scene. That can be a long time if you're the victim. To the victim's advantage, an officer happens to be in the proximity of the crash. He is the first to arrive on the scene and will be emergently trying to evaluate the condition of the victims. Amber, the 18-year-old passenger in the black SUV, appears to be dead. Her injuries were too severe. Therefore, there will be no immediate effort to remove her from the wreck. All effort will be made towards saving lives. EMS personnel will begin administering medical attention to the severely injured, who is Emily. While rendering attention to Emily, they determine that she is trapped inside the vehicle. The paramedics are in need of an engine company with rescue tools, as the door must be cut open to safely remove Emily from the vehicle. She remains conscious and is in a great amount of pain. She is screaming and her injuries are severe. She needs to be removed quickly by the engine crew in order to get her to further medical care. EMS provides as much medical assistance to Emily as they can, then turn their attention to Andrew and Xavier. Because EMTs are unable to remove Emily from the vehicle, they are awaiting the arrival of the engine crew for further assistance. The first 60 minutes following a severe injury crash is the most critical time period. Emily is alive and screaming in pain. EMTs stabilize Emily and the others. Xavier has mild bruising and is shaken, but his injuries are not as severe as Emily, who will be transported via helicopter to a level 1 trauma center in Cincinnati. Paramedics determine that Amber is dead, and therefore the officer dispatches the coroner. While EMS is rendering care, the officer's primary objective is to protect the crash scene. He must first consider the safety of the victims, rescue workers, and bystanders. He will also gather evidence to be used in court if necessary. He will try to determine what caused the crash and who is responsible. He will also determine what charges, if any, will be filed against the wrongful driver. Andrew, the driver of the black SUV, has only minor injuries, mainly because he was wearing a seatbelt. As the officer talks with him, he can smell the odor of alcoholic beverage on his breath. He performs the field sobriety test. The extrication of Emily will take additional time, but is necessary and critical to her survival. The firefighters are using hydraulic and electric tools. The spreaders have a 44,000-pound spreading force, and the cutters have a 152,000-pound cutting force. This presents a certain amount of danger to the victims and the rescuers, which is why rescuers will place cervical collars on the victims' necks to keep the vertebrae in line. This will prevent paralyzing damage to the spinal cord if their necks are fractured or broken. The victim will also be covered to protect them from flying glass and debris, as the tools are used to cut away parts of the vehicle. The trauma team is waiting for the arrival of Emily. In a minute, the helicopter is going to land, and then it's going to get even more loud. What's happening now is Emily's being taken to the helicopter. A lot of times with UC Air Care, they have a resident doc in training or doing his residency flying on the helicopter. Sometimes it's paramedics, sometimes it's nurses, sometimes it's nurse practitioners. So they're already starting the transition to definitive care. They're going to do everything they can do, but the biggest key is getting Emily to a level 1 trauma center where there's every surgeon in the book that needs to take care of any potential injuries that you'll learn about here in a minute. notice everything takes time. It takes time for us to get to the scene. It takes time for us to get somebody out of a car sometimes. It takes time to get a patient to the helicopter. It takes time to fly to the hospital. We're already 23 minutes in time of crash. And we're 60 minutes total time of crash. And definitive care in a level 1 trauma center is what's needed. So they probably have from here to UC 10 minutes. So they're going to be 35 minutes already. They're giving a doc and a surgeon 25 minutes to fix her problems. Actually before they're fading. Yeah, they can now. The trauma team is waiting for the arrival of Emily. After she arrives and life-saving measures continue, the entire team will work on Emily to assess and treat her injuries. Due to the severity of the impact, Emily's legs were crushed under the dashboard. Her pulse is weak and there are obvious deformities, indicating multiple broken bones. As her legs begin to be severely discolored and swollen, the doctors realize that she must undergo immediate surgery to save her legs. She is at high risk of having both legs amputated. In addition to losing her legs, her mental status has become diminished. Emily is diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. She will need blood evacuated from her head to lessen the impact of the head injury. She will need blood evacuated Xavier, the driver, the car Emily was in. His injuries are not as severe and his vital signs are stable at Bethesda North. A staff member dresses his wounds and notifies his parents. Emily's parents have been notified that their child has been involved in a motor vehicle crash. Directions are given to the University of Cincinnati Trauma Center. However, for safety reasons, the severity of her condition is not discussed until the parents arrive. Emily's parents arrive at the hospital and wait to speak to the doctors who are working with their daughter. With the transport of the body to the coroner's office, please prepare for death notification to Amber's parents. Officer Budai with the Goshen Police Department will handle the death notification. While en route, he has reviewed what he was going to say and how he will approach the family. No matter how many times he has done death notifications, each one is more difficult than the last. It's dark and a small light is left on by Amber's mom on the front porch waiting for her arrival home. He knocks on the front door. As he anxiously waits, he sees the lamp go on in the den. Then an adult female approaches the door, securing her robe and brushing her hair away. He offers his condolences. After consoling the parents, Officer Budai departs with great sadness. He thinks of the pain that the family must endure. The funeral, the family, the friends, the family pictures, and the others involved in the crash. We've been to the worst neighborhoods and the best neighborhoods. You have to ask yourself, could this have been you? On behalf of the Goshen Township Fire and EMS Department, and Goshen Township in general, we hope you enjoyed, or at least opened your eyes during the mock crash we just did. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle of things that can happen. It can go good and bad. We don't want to see you at wrecks. So make good decisions and be safe. Officer Buda.
Prom is a time to remember. It's a time to remember the rest of your lives. Prom is a time of laughter, hearing your favorite song, dancing, hanging out with friends, wearing that perfect tuxedo or dress, taking pictures, and a time of celebration. Prom is another milestone in your career as a Goshen High School warrior. Prom can also be a dangerous time when you choose to drive drunk or drugged. Automobile crashes are the leading cause of death among teens. That means you guys. More than 16,000 people die every year in alcohol-related crashes. Every 53 minutes, someone is killed. Someone is killed every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, someone is injured. During the time of this presentation, one person dies from impaired driving in the United States, and 30 people are injured. These are not accidents. They are violent crimes and should be referred to that way. As we set out to make these memories, which will last us a lifetime, let's make these memories safe and happy memories, so that our class reunions, we can laugh about the times with our classmates and not mourn with our classmates over lost classmates. I ask you to think about how these memories you make will affect you, your family, teachers, your community, and those of us first responders who have to try to save those memories from being written on a gravestone. So please take a few minutes Friday night and think about those decisions you're going to make. Thank you.
Alright guys, so this was so we can bring a message to you, so we can bring awareness to the importance of this weekend. I want you to have fun, I want you to enjoy yourself, I want you to make good decisions.